worth it. We are going to defeat the Taliban. Can you say that?
I can say that we will defeat al-Qaeda and that the Taliban will not be retaking Afghanistan.
You can say that with surety?
Well, look, I can't say anything with 100% certainty, but I have confidence that our troops have done an incredible amount of work. That they are now on the offensive rather than being on the defensive. And we're starting to transition so that Afghan security forces can start taking over. The Taliban are still going to be an element in Afghanistan. But what we've said to them, and what we'll say to, I think, everybody in the region, is as long as you respect the Afghan Constitution, as long as you lay down arms and are not involved in a violent overthrow of the government, then those of you that want to participate in the political process, you should.
Okay, so it'd be good to get them in. Karzai is a problem. And Karzai, you know, the people of Afghanistan do not respect that man. We're backing another guy like we backed Mubarak, another guy who's very troubling.
Well, look, I think that Karzai has a very tough task in building a country that is the third poorest in the world, that has never had a strong tradition of a central government, doesn't have a civil service, 70% illiteracy. So he's got challenges. Now, what I've also said to him is, you've got to improve governance.
And he says to you, I'll do what I want.
Well, I don't think he says he'll do what he wants. What he'll often say is that this is hard and it takes time. And what I have to say to him is, the American people have made a big investment here, and you don't have indefinite amounts of time.
Do you trust this guy? You trust Karzai?
You know, I would say that I trust that he cares about his country and he cares about the relationship with the United States. But I do think that he's got some big changes that he's got to make in his government to be legitimate in the eyes of the Afghan people over the long term.
At the end of the year, we'll have almost all our troops out of Iraq.
Yeah.
Okay, guess who shows up a couple of weeks ago? This Sater, this thug, the Iranian guy, all right? He comes back. Yeah. It looks to me like Iran is waiting for us to leave and is then going to try to dominate Iraq. You see it that way?
No, I don't. If you look at what the government formation process has been, first of all, you've got a democracy that's up and running. You've got a lot of squabbling between all the factions in Iraq, just like you got squabbling here in the United States, but they haven't resorted to arms. The Sadrists got, I think, like the tourism ministry and a couple of, you know, they wanted defense, they wanted all the big fancy stuff.
See, what I'm worried about is that Iran, a more powerful nation than Iraq, starts to just ferment turmoil throughout Iraq, and so they can have a sphere of influence there. I think people are worried about that.
Iran is a big neighbor of Iraq's, and those two countries will have a relationship, but Iraq, I am confident, is going to be able to maintain its independence and maintain a strong partnership with the United States.
I think I'm worried about that. All right.
Well, I worry about everything, Bill.
Two more questions.
Yeah.
One is a criticism and one is a compliment. The criticism comes at the State of the Union address. I did not see urgency from you about the $14+ trillion debt. I saw a little cost. Yeah, we'll freeze this, we'll freeze that. I didn't see the urgency here. Almost every economist I talk to says if the United States continues to rack up debt the way we're racking it up, our dollar's going to collapse and everybody's going to be down a drain. Why didn't I see more urgency from you?
Bill, I think there was enormous urgency.
Did you really?
Look at what we're doing. We're cutting $400 billion. We're proposing to cut $400 billion of spending over 5 years.
GOP wants triple that.
No, but understand that by doing that, we will get domestic spending to the lowest level as a share of GDP since Eisenhower. That means we'll be spending less in terms of discretionary spending. We'll be spending less than we did under Reagan.
Yeah, but that's a little bit of a sleight of hand because
no, it's not. Bill,
because there's so many entitlements in the defense and stuff like that.
Well, and we're making cuts in defense. Now, here's what you're absolutely right about. The long-term problem is entitlements.
Yeah.
Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. And what I've said to the Republicans is, I want to work with you to figure out how we cut spending on this.
We'll see if those pinheads can come up with something.
We're not going to be able to do it. One side is not going to be able to get it done because it requires tough choices.
As an American, I am tremendously worried about that.
So am I.
You got to put the brakes on that.
Okay, next on the rundown, the rest of that exclusive interview. Does the president really feel that Fox News is unfair and unbalanced? We pose that question after these messages.